Access your free language gifts right now before they expire. First, the Language PDF Welcome Pack. New to the language and not sure where to start? Start with the basics. With our Welcome Pack, you get a bundle of PDFs giving you a quick overview of the alphabet, grammar, key vocabulary, and all the basics you must know. Second, you'll be able to talk about the weather with the new Weather Conversation cheat sheet. You get a simple dialogue that you can use in real life. Download the PDF cheat sheet for free right now. Third, if that cheat sheet was not enough, here's a bonus vocab lesson for weather, over 40 words that you'll know so you can speak about the weather fluently. Fourth, the 32 words you need for language learning. Noun, verb, adjective, sentence, grammar. You'll learn how to say these language-related words and much more in this quick 1-minute lesson. Fifth, must know Easter vocabulary. Can you say Easter in your target language? You will with this quick 1-minute vocabulary lesson. And sixth, looking for a new language learning app? With the Innovative Language Learning app, you learn language fast through conversations, and you start speaking in minutes because our conversation lessons are just 3 to 15 minutes long. Download Innovative Language Learning for free for the Android, iPhone, and iPad. To get your gifts and language learning resources, click the link in the description below. Download them right now before they expire. Hi everybody, welcome back to Ask Alicia, the weekly series where you ask me questions and I answer them. Maybe. Let's get to your first question this week. First question this week comes from Irisha Egorova. Hi Irisha. Irisha says, hey Alicia, could you explain, can we translate figure out as understand? Nice question. The short answer is no. We cannot translate figure out as understand. To figure something out or to figure out something means to solve. So it's like when you have a challenge or a puzzle, something that requires a little bit of digging, a little bit of research, like you need to solve a mystery kind of thing. That's when we use to figure out. So you might say, for example, I figured out the password on my mom's computer. That means you had to try a bunch of wrong passwords, probably a bunch of incorrect passwords to get the correct one, right? So to figure something out means like to solve something, like a puzzle. To understand, on the other hand, doesn't relate to trying to solve a mystery or trying to research lots of information to find the end of the puzzle or something like that. Rather, when we understand something, it's because we have been learning something over time, usually. So you can maybe understand something you learned in class that day, or maybe you understand something after you watch this video. So to understand something doesn't have the same feeling of trying to solve a puzzle as figure out does. And when we understand something, we can grasp it 100% in our heads. We can say, oh, I understand that conversation. Or I understand his point of view, right? So over time, you get to know another person or you get to know a subject, for example, and gradually you learn that thing and then you know lots about those things and you can say, I understand that, or I understand this subject. When we say figure something out, it sounds like we're solving a puzzle or there's a mystery, something that's kind of unsure and we need to kind of get to the bottom of this. We need to be detectives, kind of. So that's the feeling with to figure out. To understand doesn't have that same feeling of like looking for clues and trying to find hints and things like that. It's more like a gradual learning process or trying to see things from another person's point of view. So I hope that this helps you understand the differences between to figure out and to understand. Thanks very much for the question. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Constantine. Hi, Constantine. Constantine says, hi, Alicia. Please tell me about the expressions, here we go and there you go. What's the difference? In what situations can I use them? Thanks a lot. Okay, sure. Here you go versus there you go. Great. So when we give someone something and we want to be kind of friendly and casual about it, we usually say, here you go. So you might hear this at a restaurant where the staff is very friendly with you. They bring your food, they say, here you go, here's your sandwich. Or when you're at home and someone brings you something you need, like a glass of water, they might say, here you go, here's your water. It's like saying, this is yours, right? Or this is for you. It's a very casual and friendly way to say, this is yours, please take it. In other words, here you go. You might also hear this at like a movie theater or at some kind of tourist attraction where you have to buy tickets, yeah? They might say, here you go, which means these are yours, please take these things. So these are the situations in which we typically use here you go. So there you go, on the other hand, is used in slightly different situations. Typically, we use there you go when someone understands something after trying to learn about it or trying to kind of, gain knowledge about the material. So for example, if someone is asking lots of questions about a subject and they're getting close to kind of understanding what you're talking about, and then finally it's clear, they get it, they understand. You might say, there you go, that's it. So that there you go is kind of like a supportive way to say, yes, you got it, you understand now. So you might hear there you go in like learning situations from time to time. Another situation you might hear this there you go in is when you're learning how to do something, like when you're riding a bike, for example. If your parent is teaching you how to ride a bike or someone is teaching you how to ride a bike and you're struggling, but finally you get it, they might say, there you go, you got it. So these are kind of situations in which one person wants to give you lots of encouragement and sound very positive and very supportive of your efforts as you try to learn how to do something. So they are quite different, but they are both very positive and very friendly expressions. So here you go is used to mean this is yours, take it, go for it in a very friendly way. And there you go is used to mean, yes, you got it, you understand, and I support you. So they're both very positive phrases. I hope that this helped you understand the differences. Thanks very much for sending the question along. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Michelle says, what are the differences between follow up with a hyphen, follow up, no hyphen, and follow up? No space between the two. How do I use them in a sentence? Thanks, Alicia. Super great question. I love that you're thinking about these tiny little details. So first and foremost, there's no such thing, or we should not use, the dictionary does not approve of, follow up with no space between follow and up. Follow hyphen up is used as a noun and as an adjective. Follow space up is used as a verb. So they are different in terms of part of speech. So don't worry about the third one there. Don't worry about follow up as one word. Let's just talk about these two parts of speech, or these two, I suppose, three parts of speech. So when we say follow hyphen up as a noun, you can say like, let's have a follow-up tomorrow, which sounds like follow-up meeting. It sounds like a short way to say a follow-up meeting. So sometimes it's used as a noun in this way, just a standalone noun, like I want to have a follow-up with you later. A doctor might say that, like let's schedule a follow-up for next week, which means a follow-up check-in. So follow-up often kind of stands in just as a noun on its own in this way. We can also use it as an adjective, as I just described, like let's have a follow-up meeting, or let's have a follow-up check-in later. Something like that where follow-up precedes a noun, it's used as an adjective, which means I want to kind of do the same thing, do the same check, and just sort of check in with you and see how we're going. So that's what a follow-up is, as a noun and as an adjective. On the other hand, when we use it with a space in between the words, no hyphen, it takes the verb form. So to follow up. Like for example, we followed up with the clients this morning. Or, hey, do you have some time to follow up later? So these use the same expression just as a verb. So that's the only difference between follow hyphen up and follow space up. And just forget about follow up with no space in it. According to the dictionary, these two are the only ones that you need to worry about. So I hope that this answers your question. Thanks so much for sending along this really detailed one. I love that. Okay, that is everything that I have for this week. Thank you, as always, for sending your great questions. Remember, you can send them to me at englishclass101.com/Alicia. Of course, I know that's a very long URL, so please check the link in the description where you can find the official question submission page. Please send me your questions to the official question submission page. Don't send them on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or I don't know where else you send them. There are too many comments. I just cannot see them all. So please send them to the official page. I will definitely see your question there, and maybe I'll choose to answer it in this series. So thanks so much for watching. As always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, check us out at englishclass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this week's episode of Ask Alicia, and I will see you again next time. Bye. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Welcome to the 2000 Core English Words and Phrases video series. Each lesson will help you learn new words, practice, and review what you've learned. Okay, let's get started. First is meet. 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 To meet is a verb. It means to connect with another person, usually face-to-face. We can also use meet these days in digital situations, like when we're doing video calls. Here's an example. I'm going to meet my friend at 7 p.m. I'm going to meet my friend at 7 p.m. I'm going to meet my friend at 7 p.m. Okay, next is revise. 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 To revise is a verb. This word means to edit. So when we revise something, we make changes to something. We use this one a lot when we're writing something, like an essay or an article, and we need to make some changes. Revise tends to sound a little more formal than edit. Here's an example. At times, it is necessary to revise a schedule as the meeting goes on. At times, it is necessary to revise a schedule as the meeting goes on. At times, it is necessary to revise a schedule as the meeting goes on. Okay, next is director. 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 A director is a position in a company. Usually, the director of the company is in charge of making key decisions for the company. The word direct is in this word, which suggests, correctly, that the director of a company tells other people what to do. They also kind of pinpoint the direction the company is going in. So these are some good hints that can help you to remember the job of a director. Here's an example. He's the director of my company. He's the director of my company. He's the director of my company. Okay, next is factory. 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 A factory is a big location where something is created, where things are made. Physical products are created in a factory. Here's an example. The factory manager is giving instructions. The factory manager is giving instructions. The factory manager is giving instructions. Okay, the next word is output. 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 So, output can be used as a noun or a verb. Usually it's used as a noun, however. So, output refers to all of the things that are created by something else. We can also use this when we talk about a person, as in all of the things that a person accomplishes or creates. So, we usually use this when we talk about physical things. So, physical objects or physical products that something has created. Here's an example. Output of the factory has fallen since the new managers took over. Output of the factory has fallen since the new managers took over. Output of the factory has fallen since the new managers took over. Okay, next is workforce. 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 Workforce is a noun. It refers to all of the people in a region, in a city, or in a country who are working. These are people who have jobs. We usually talk about the workforce when we talk about all of the people who are working in a country. And we often do this when we want to talk about their age, their maybe location, the kinds of data that we need to make decisions for the economy or maybe the political direction of our country. Here's an example. The workforce is half men and half women. The workforce is half men and half women. The workforce is half men and half women. Okay, the next word is material. 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 Material means the thing that something is made of. So we can have hard materials, soft materials, cheap materials, expensive materials. We use materials to create other things. Here's an example. Silk is a nice material for a blouse. Silk is a nice material for a blouse. Silk is a nice material for a blouse. Okay, the next word is part. 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 A part is a piece of something or a portion of something. Part can mean one paragraph in an essay, or it can mean one small piece inside a machine. So a part of something is just one small bit of something or one small aspect of something that is bigger. Here's an example. Without the new part, we can't make any more widgets. Without the new part, we can't make any more widgets. Without the new part, we can't make any more widgets. Okay, next is machine. 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 A machine is a noun. A machine is usually, these days, something that has moving parts and that uses electricity to run. In the old days, in old times, machines were powered by humans and by animals. But these days, most machines use electricity. Here's an example. The copy machine was very expensive. The copy machine was very expensive. The copy machine was very expensive. Okay, the next word is cement. 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 Cement is a material. We see cement probably every day. Cement is used to create sidewalks, the locations next to the road where people can walk. We also use cement to create buildings, especially building walls. It's usually gray in color, though sometimes people paint other colors on it. It's very, very hard, and it takes a long time to dry. So here's an example. The equipment needs to be mounted to a solid cement floor. The equipment needs to be mounted to a solid cement floor. The equipment needs to be mounted to a solid cement floor. Let's review. I'm going to describe a word or phrase in English. See if you can remember it. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say the word that means to connect with another person, especially face-to-face? Meet. Meet. And how to say the word that means to edit something, especially in more formal situations. Revise. Revise. What about the word that means the person who makes key decisions for a company or an organization? Director. Director. Do you remember how to say the place where products and other items are made? Factory. Factory. Let's try the word that refers to all of the things created by something or someone else. Output. Output. Okay, what about the word that means all of the people who are working in a city, in a region, or a country? Workforce. Workforce. Now, let's see if you remember how to say the word that refers to something that is used to create other things. Material. Material. Another one. What about the word that means a piece of something or a small bit of something else? Part. Part. Do you remember how to say the word that means something that is powered by electricity or, in the past, humans or animals? Machine. Machine. And finally, do you remember how to say the material we use that's usually gray in color that is used to create walls and sidewalks? cement, cement. Well done. See you next time. Bye. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Welcome to the 2000 Core English Words and Phrases video series. Each lesson will help you learn new words, practice, and review what you've learned. Okay, let's get started. First is coal, coal, coal. Coal is a material that we can burn. When we go camping, for example, we might use coal in the fire, or we might use coal in a barbecue. We can also use coal to generate energy. Here's an example sentence. The country still has a large coal industry. The country still has a large coal industry. The country still has a large coal industry. Gas, gas, gas. Gas is another material that we can use for energy. You might also know gas as the short version of the word for gasoline, which we use for cars and trucks and so on. But this type of gas refers to something we cannot see, the gas we do not use for our cars and trucks. Rather, we use gas for other purposes, other energy generating purposes, like in our homes. So here's an example sentence. We use natural gas to heat the factory. We use natural gas to heat the factory. We use natural gas to heat the factory. Textile, textile, textile. A textile is a kind of physical material that we can use to produce something else, usually like clothing or bags or accessories. So textiles usually refer to fabrics that we use to create these kinds of things. Here's an example sentence. The textile factory creates fabrics from cotton, linen, and silk. The textile factory creates fabrics from cotton, linen, and silk. The textile factory creates fabrics from cotton, linen, and silk. Electricity, electricity, electricity. Electricity is what we use in our homes, schools, cars, and other very, very common places for power. Electricity is used to turn on the light or to use the computer and many, many other things. We can use it in battery form as well. So electricity is what we use to get power in our lives. Here's an example sentence. Let's save electricity by turning off the power. Let's save electricity by turning off the power. Let's save electricity by turning off the power. Input, input, input. Input can be a noun and a verb. In this situation, we're going to focus on the noun form. And input refers to a part of something where you can put something else into it. So you might see this word used when you're talking about computers or machines or maybe even something in your kitchen. So any part that has something that you can attach something else to could be called an input. Here's an example sentence. The input to the computer controls the output of the assembly line. The input to the computer controls the output of the assembly line. The input to the computer controls the output of the assembly line. Fishing, fishing, fishing. Fishing is a very common hobby. When you go to a lake or perhaps to the ocean, and you usually take a long rod called a fishing pole or a fishing rod, and you go try to catch fish, that activity is called fishing. Here's an example. My grandfather takes me fishing every Saturday. My grandfather takes me fishing every Saturday. My grandfather takes me fishing every Saturday. Tourism, tourism, tourism. So, tourism is an industry. Tourism refers to businesses that offer services to visitors to the country to try to attract people. Usually, tourism focuses on sharing local foods, local culture, and of course, interesting places in the local country. Here's an example sentence. Many resort destinations rely on tourism for most of their income. Many resort destinations rely on tourism for most of their income. Many resort destinations rely on tourism for most of their income. Export. 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 So, to export something means to take something from one country and move it to another country. However, with exports, this is done officially. So, when one country exports something to another country, it is for sale. Here's an example sentence. The United States exports food products around the world. The United States exports food products around the world. The United States exports food products around the world. Import. 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 To import is the opposite of to export. So to import something means to receive something from another country. It means to receive a product or a food item or something like that from another country for sale or for use in one other country, like a home country. Here's an example sentence. We import all of our cotton from Egypt. We import all of our cotton from Egypt. We import all of our cotton from Egypt. Automobile. 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 Automobile refers to any vehicle that can move automatically. So if we break down the word automobile, we see auto referring to automatic and mobile referring to something that can move. So we use this word to talk generally about things like cars, buses, trucks, and so on, things that can move automatically. Here's an example. The automobile is turning right. The automobile is turning right. The automobile is turning right. Let's review. I'm going to describe a word or phrase in English. See if you can remember it. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say the small black material that you can burn to create fire or other types of energy? Coal. Coal. And how to say the word that refers to the invisible material that we use for electricity and other forms of power? Gas. Gas. What about the word that means a type of material that's used to create fabrics, like for clothing, bags, and other accessories? Textile. Textile. Do you remember how to say the word that refers to the type of power that we have in our homes that allows us to turn on the light, to use our computers, and to use batteries? Electricity. Electricity. Let's try the word that means the part of something, especially a machine, that can be used to attach something else. Input. Input. What about the word that refers to a very common hobby where you go to a lake or to the ocean to try to catch fish? Fishing. Fishing. Now, let's see if you remember how to say the industry that works by sharing local culture, local food, and local travel points. Tourism. Tourism. Another one. What about the word that refers to selling products like food to other countries? Export. Export. Do you remember how to say the word that refers to receiving products for sale from other countries? Import. Import. And finally, do you remember how to say the word that refers to things like buses, cars, and trucks, these machines for transportation that move automatically? Automobile. Automobile. Well done. See you next time. Bye.
Are you struggling to understand conversations in your target language? This video will improve your listening skills using practice dialogues. How do you know if your language skills are improving? Our team of teachers have designed a free quiz to determine your actual learning level. So click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for you. In this lesson, you'll listen to a dialogue with the text. Second, you'll review the key vocabulary, followed by the English translations. And finally, you'll review the dialogue with the text again to master what you learned. First, listen to the dialogue with the text on the screen.
Good morning. How may I help you?
Well, we decided to eat at a restaurant. Do you eat at restaurants often?
Yes, I do.
Could you tell me the name of the best restaurant within 5 minutes of the hotel?
I actually don't like the restaurants near the hotel, but there's a steakhouse on Pine Street that I love. It's a bit farther than 5 minutes, but it's my favorite here in Phoenix.
Now you will hear the key vocabulary, followed by the English translation.
Best.
Of the most excellent, effective, or desirable type.
Minute.
Unit of time that is 60 seconds.
Often. Many times, frequently.
Pine.
A type of tree, often used as a street name.
Restaurant. A place where food and drinks can be bought.
Farther.
At, to, or by a greater distance.
Decided.
To have made a decision about.
Actually.
As a true fact, really.
Steakhouse.
A restaurant that specializes in serving steaks.
5. 5.
Finally, let's review the dialogue again. See if you can understand more this time.
Good morning. How may I help you?
Well, we decided to eat at a restaurant. Do you eat at restaurants often?
Yes, I do.
Could you tell me the name of the best restaurant within 5 minutes of the hotel?
I actually don't like the restaurants near the hotel, but there's a steakhouse on Pine Street that I love. It's a bit farther than 5 minutes, but it's my favorite here in Phoenix.
This is the end of the lesson. In this lesson, you improved your listening and mastered key vocabulary for everyday life conversation. Don't forget to click the link in the description to get your free assessment and unlock lessons that are right for your learning level. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone. Welcome to your 2000 Core English Words and Phrases video series quiz. Each week, we'll release a video teaching you new vocabulary. The following week, you'll be given a quiz so you can test your progress. Click the link in the description. Let's learn and review the words for your test. But if you're ready, it's quiz time. Announce. Hold a meeting. Approve. Criticize. Put forward. Support. Believe. Research. Request. Negotiate. Great job on completing the quiz. If you didn't get 100%, don't worry. Just check out the previous video again to review the expressions we covered. But before you go, we have a free gift that you don't want to miss. Use it to expand your vocabulary. Click the link in the description below to download our English ebook with the Core 2000 Words for Daily Life Situations. Welcome to your 2000 Core English Words and Phrases video series quiz. Each week, we'll release a video teaching you new vocabulary. The following week, you'll be given a quiz so you can test your progress. Click the link in the description. Let's learn and review the words for your test. But if you're ready, it's quiz time. Meet. Revise. Director. Factory. Output. Workforce. Material. Part. Machine. Cement. Great job on completing the quiz. If you didn't get 100%, don't worry. Just check out the previous video again to review the expressions we covered. But before you go, we have a free gift that you don't want to miss. Use it to expand your vocabulary. Click the link in the description below to download our English ebook with the core 2,000 words for daily life situations. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about how to use the verb have. I'm going to focus on two different ways that we use this verb. Let's get started. First, over here, I want to talk about using have to show ownership. We use the verb have when we want to show that an object or a pet, for example, belongs to someone, or we want to express that something is owned by someone. So we do this with the verb have, and in present tense, we need to consider the subject of our sentence. So for this lesson, I'm going to focus on making statements with this verb. Here, when our subject is I, you, we, or they, we add the subject to have and a direct object. We'll look at some examples in just a moment. This is the basic pattern for a simple statement of ownership with the verb have. This is a positive statement in blue. To make a negative statement, we use, again, the same subjects, the same group, or the same kinds of subjects with don't, and then have and our direct object again. So don't is the reduced form of do not. You can use both of them, but in everyday speech, we typically use don't. So I don't have, you don't have, we don't have, they don't have. When the subject is he, she, or it, however, we need to use has. So this is the conjugated form of the verb have. When the subject is this, we have to use has. So he has, she has, it has, and a direct object after the verb, just as we saw in the first example. Again, we need to make a change when we make a negative statement. In this case, with he, she, or it subjects, we use doesn't before have. So please note, in the negative here, with these subjects, we use don't, do not have. With these subjects, we use doesn't or does not have before our direct object. So these two example portions refer to using have to show ownership in the present. So these are present tense statements. Let's take a look at a couple of examples down here. First, I have a car. I have a car. My subject is I. I follow this with the verb have, and my direct object is a car. A car. I have a car. So this is the thing that's being affected by this verb. I have a car. Second, she has pets. She has pets. In this sentence, my subject is she. Has is the verb. I've conjugated it from the regular have to has to match my subject. And my object is pets. In this case, a plural. Pets. Pets. She has pets. Finally, a negative example. He doesn't have free time. He doesn't have free time. My subject is he. I want to make a negative, so I've used doesn't have instead of just have. Keep in mind, we don't change this portion. This does not change to has. Only this portion changes. So he doesn't have, and then my direct object is free time. He doesn't have free time. So these are basic examples of using have for ownership. Let's take a look now at the same idea, but in past tense, So when we make past tense statements for ownership, we don't need to be so concerned. We don't need to worry about the subject. So here in present tense, we need to be careful about the subject because our verb changes. But in this case, past tense, we don't need to worry about that. So to make a past tense ownership statement, we use subject plus had. This is the past tense conjugation of the verb have. So have becomes had, plus our direct object. To make the negative in the past, we use didn't have. Didn't have. Didn't have is the reduced form of did not have. So didn't have. Let's take a look at some examples that use past tense then. So here, first, I had a dog. I had a dog. You might use this when telling a story, like when I was a kid. So here my subject is I. I've used had, the past tense form of have, and my direct object is a dog, a dog. So I had a dog when I was a kid. Or the reverse is okay too. When I was a kid, I had a dog. The next example, he had a meeting. He had a meeting. So again, my subject, he, past tense verb, had, direct object, meeting. He had a meeting. And finally, a negative example, she didn't have lunch. She didn't have lunch. So the negative past tense form is didn't plus have, and my direct object is lunch. So you'll notice here that especially with these two example sentences, it's not really an object or a pet that we're talking about here, a meeting or lunch. Actually, there are some very common expressions that we have that use the verb have. For example, to have a meeting or to have meal, as in to have breakfast, to have dinner, to have lunch. Please note, we do not use the verb take. We do not use to take lunch or to take breakfast. We may use to take a break or to take lunch in terms of a break period. But when we're talking about a meal, we do not use the verb to take. We also have the expressions to have fun or to have a good time. To have a nice day as well is a common greeting, like I had a nice day or I hope you have a nice day. So please keep in mind there are these common other expressions that use have but maybe aren't about owning something, like having a physical object. So this is the way that we use have and has and had to show ownership. Let's compare this now to part 2 of this lesson. In part 2, I want to look at using have to make the perfect tense, So for this, I'm going to cover the present perfect tense and the past perfect tense. Let's begin with the present perfect tense. So just as we did with part 1 and the present tense, we need to think about the subject when we're using present perfect tense. The same groups apply. I, you, we, and they as subjects, plus have, plus present participle, the present participle form of a verb. This makes the first part of a typical present perfect tense sentence or present perfect tense statement. To make the statement negative, we again use our subject and we use haven't plus the present participle form of a verb. Haven't is the reduced form of have not. We'll see some examples in just a moment. Compare this to this one, again, the same as in part 1 over here. Our subjects are he, she, and it in this portion, and we need to change the verb have to has here. Then we follow this with the present participle form of the verb. So again, has for the subject he, she, or it. He has, she has, it has. In the negative, we use hasn't. So this is has not in the reduced form. A pronunciation point with these, we tend to reduce have and has to v and z when we're speaking. For example, I have becomes I've. You have becomes you've. We have becomes we've. They have becomes they've. When using these subjects, he has, she has, and it has become he's, she's, its. So please keep this in mind. It can be hard to pick up when you're listening, but over time, when you listen to the grammar of the sentence, you'll notice these patterns. A great hint is listening for this present participle verb form. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples that use this pattern. First, I have been to Mexico. I have been to Mexico. My subject is I, here. I follow this with have, and then I use the present participle form of my verb. I have been, in this case, to Mexico. So we use the present perfect tense to talk about general life experiences. I have the life experience of going to Mexico. So we use present perfect tense to show that. We don't use simple past tense, I went to Mexico, because we're not talking about a specific point in time. We're using this just to show that we have some life experience. I've been to Mexico. So the reduced form that I just used is the most common in conversation. Not I have been to Mexico, but I've been to Mexico. Let's look at another example. He hasn't eaten lunch today. He hasn't eaten lunch today. Here's a negative. My subject is he. I'm using hasn't, the reduced form of has not. Eaten, my present participle verb, and lunch in this case. He hasn't eaten lunch today. He hasn't eaten lunch today. So in this case, we're talking about an experience today. So we also use the present perfect tense to refer to actions that started in the past and that continue to the present. So why did we use it here? We would use this here to mean that this person, this he in this situation, may be suffering some kind of negative effect. For example, it's 4 o'clock and he hasn't eaten lunch today. So the speaker might be concerned that this person is hungry or maybe tired, needs a break, they're very busy. He hasn't eaten lunch today. So today, he has not had the experience of eating lunch. Maybe he needs some time off, or maybe he should take a break. So there's maybe some concern about the other person. That's why we might use this kind of grammar for this sentence. Finally, the last example here, she has arrived at the station. She has arrived at the station. My subject is she. I'm using has as my helping verb, and my present participle, arrived, follows. She has arrived at the station in this case. So we could use this to maybe talk about someone's travel plans. Like, oh, she has arrived at the station and maybe now she is waiting. So we use it to talk about those kinds of sequences of events. Like she has arrived now, she's in that station waiting for us. Okay, so let's take a look now at the past form of this. So just as we talked about in part 1, with the past form of the perfect tense, past perfect tense, we don't need to concern ourselves, we don't need to be worried about different subjects here. We all, or rather all of these, will use the same pattern. Subject plus had plus present participle, or to make the negative, subject plus hadn't, which is had not, plus present participle. And note, for both of these, I've used present participle at the end here, but yes, you can use been plus ing. You can use the continuous form. I'm just not covering it in this lesson because there's not enough space and time for me to talk about all of it. But we can use this as well, yes. So we use past perfect tense when we want to talk about something that maybe started in the past and was continuing but was interrupted. So we use this a lot for past actions that were interrupted, as in the first example here. We had been studying for 2 hours when our teacher arrived. So here, we, subject, had been, so again, my linking verb, my helping verb here is had. In this case, I'm using this been studying pattern, this continuing pattern. We had been studying for 2 hours when our teacher arrived. So this shows an interrupted action. You'll notice this first part, we had been studying, is in this continuous form. So that means this period to this period, this 2-hour period was studying. We had been studying, so in this period in the past. Then here, our teacher arrived. Our teacher arrived. So maybe the studying stopped or something interrupted our studying. So the speaker is talking now in the present, but they're talking about something that happened in the past. We had been studying for 2 hours when our teacher arrived. So this is a common pattern with the past perfect tense. Let's look at one more example. If you want to show a sequence of events in the past perfect tense is very useful for that. For example, I saw my busy friend yesterday. We might begin our story with this. I saw my busy friend yesterday. She hadn't slept in 24 hours, so she was exhausted. She hadn't slept. So here, she is my subject. Hadn't is the negative had not here, plus present participle verb form, in this case, slept. She hadn't slept in 24 hours, so she was exhausted. So using past tense and past perfect tense helps us show the sequence of events. So in this case, I saw my busy friend yesterday. This was most recently in the past. My friend hadn't slept in 24 hours. So in the 24 hours before I met my friend did not sleep. But we use past perfect tense to describe that period because it was a continuing period. So 24 hours prior until when I met my friend, she had not slept, no sleep in that period. So we use past perfect tense to describe that. So I finish this with, she was exhausted. At this point in time, she was exhausted. So I'm referring to this specific point in time when I saw my friend, so I'm using simple past tense there. So this part, her experience, the past 24 hours, I use past perfect tense to talk about that. And I also use past perfect tense to talk about that because it was before, it's something that happened before this point in time, which is nearer to the conversation now. So we're talking now, if this is the present, this is when I saw my friend, this is my friend's experience, this came before this experience. So when you want to talk about something further in the past, use past perfect tense, then simple past tense to do that. So we show sequences of events. This is a little bit more of an advanced grammar point. But this is another way that we use had and hadn't. So I hope that this lesson helps you to understand the various ways that we use have, has, and had, and all of the negative forms as well. If you have any questions or comments, or if you want to practice making some sentences with these words, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Also, if you liked this lesson, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about some phrasal verbs that we use to express movement. I've broken down the phrasal verbs here into groups according to the preposition we use with the verb. In this lesson, I've included some phrasal verbs that are very common and that might be confusing the first time you see them. Let's get started. Okay, let's begin with this group of phrasal verbs here. The first one is the group up. Now, I've chosen a few here to include in today's lesson, but this is not all of the phrasal verbs. There are many more. I want to focus on these because they may be a little bit hard to understand. So first, let's look at these two. Get up and wake up. Get up and wake up. To get up means to move from bed. So you have your eyes open and you get up, you move your body from your bed, the place where you're sleeping. We use get up to describe that action, moving your body from bed. Wake up, on the other hand, we sometimes use in the same way as get up. However, wake up means to open your eyes. So after you sleep, the first thing you do probably is open your eyes. We can use wake up to describe that. So, for example, I woke up and I got out of bed. Okay? I woke up and I got up. I just used got out of bed as well. We can use that too. But I woke up and then I got up would be another way to say that. Okay, next is sit up. Sit up. To sit up means to sit straight in a chair. So imagine, as many of us do, we relax into this position, so our back makes a curve. When we sit up, we sit straight in a chair. So if you tend to sit like this a lot, someone might say to you, hey, sit up, it's better for your back. So sit up means to sit straight in a chair. Next is pick up. Pick up. There are two uses of pick up. We can use pick up to mean to collect, like to pick someone up at the airport. Like, oh, I have to pick up my boss at the airport today. We can also say, I need to pick my boss up at the airport today. We can use either form of that phrasal verb. Pick up can also mean clean, like pick up your room or pick up the bathroom. It's so messy. So usually the feeling with this pick up for clean means there are many things on the floor or many things not in their place. So please pick them up and put them away. So pick up has these two meanings. It's pretty easy to understand which is which depending on the conversation. Okay, let's talk now about this up to. So yes, we have many phrasal verbs which use up, but I want to talk about up to with motion, with movement. You might hear a verb like this, walk, run, jog, or drive, some kind of bodily motion or transportation used with up to. This means to do an action until you reach a point. So you do something like walk to a specific location and stop. For example, walk up to the camera or drive up to the forest, for example. That means you do that action and continue it until you reach a certain point. We do not really use down to as much as up to. You might hear someone use walk down to or drive down to if it's a hill. If they're talking about a hill or talking about moving south, you might hear that. But generally, we tend to use up to when we're talking about everyday life situations. And if you hear down to used, it's probably because the person is talking about going literally down a hill, down a slope, down something sloped in this way, or because they're talking about moving south specifically. So that's up to. Okay, now let's talk about down. So some phrasal verbs we use with down are take down, put down, and knock down. Take down, put down, and knock down. Take down, there are a couple of uses of take down, but for motion, for movement, I want to focus on this one. To take something down means to remove something, So if I have a picture on the wall, I could say, I need to take this down, which means I need to remove this. We use this phrasal verb a lot for decorations. Decorations, signs, pictures, something we put on a wall or something we put on a billboard, some kind of like advertisement maybe. We use take down to refer to removing that. Okay, next is put down, put down. Put down has another meaning that I'm not going to talk about so much in this lesson, which means to make someone feel bad. But I want to focus instead on put down to mean place something down, to place something down. So imagine you have a cup of coffee or tea and you need to do something else quickly. You need to use your hands. You need to put down your coffee or tea and do the other thing. So when you move something from a high position and place it in a lower position, like on a table or on a desk, you can use put down to describe that. I need to put down this coffee. You might also hear people say, put down your phone, we need to do this. It means stop looking at your phone, put it down on a table or put it down maybe in your bag. So put down means to place something down lower than its original position. Okay, next one is knock down. Knock down. To knock something down means to cause something to fall, to cause something to fall. So if you have an object on a shelf and you walk past the object on the shelf and you touch it with your shoulder, you might cause the object to fall down. We use knock down to describe that. To knock something down means to cause something to fall. I also just said fall down, fall down. For something to fall down means it does it on its own. Like maybe I'm walking, I trip, I fall down. I cannot say knock down because nothing caused me to fall. Fall down is for something that happens independently. I caused it. To knock something down means you caused that thing to fall down. Okay? All right, let's go to the next group. On this part, in this middle part, we have in and out, in and out. So let's cover these first two. Go in and get in. To go in and to get in both mean enter, to enter something. But we use go in for buildings, like go in the bank. You might also hear go into, that's fine as well. Like go into the bank, or go in the supermarket, or I went in the hair salon, or something. So go in refers to a building. We are entering a building. To get in means to enter a vehicle, like get in the car, or get in the bus, or get in the canoe, something like that. To get in, we use that for vehicles, usually cars and trucks. For bigger vehicles, we tend to use get on, like the plane. We would say get on the plane, or maybe get on the train. So we tend to use get in for smaller vehicles, or for smaller objects we can ride, like get in the raft. Or I used a water sport example earlier, get in the canoe. So these are kind of smaller, more personal vehicles. Get in the car, and so on. Okay? Next, I want to talk about this pair, pull in and drive in. To pull in and to drive in. We use these when we're talking about driving a car, yeah? So to pull in usually means to enter a parking space. To pull in to a parking space. This is usually when we use this. Sometimes you might hear it just to pull into a place to stop as well. Maybe it's not a space, a parking space, but it might be a place to stop. We might say, pull in over there, we can stop and rest, or something like that. So to pull in generally means to drive your car to a stopping place. Then, drive in, drive in. To drive in means to enter a place with a car. For example, you drive in to a car wash. So that means you enter a location with your car. You might also see a drive-in movie theater. In a drive-in movie theater, customers bring their car to the movie. They drive in to the movie watching space, usually a large parking lot. So this is drive in, to enter a place with a car. Okay, next is walk in. Walk in. This means to enter by walking. So you can say, I walked into the bank, or I walked into my house, if you want to be specific about how you entered. Of course, you could say, I ran into my house, or I jogged into a place as well. You can be specific with that. Finally, we have come in. Come in. To come in means to enter a building, yes, but come in is used as an invitation. If I am inside the building and I want to invite you to join me inside the building, I say, come in, come in. And you could say, oh, is it okay? Cool. You might also say in that case, can I come in? Can I come in? We tend to use come in this kind of invitation request situation. So if you are outside someone's house, you might say to someone else outside the house, let's go into the house. You wouldn't say, let's come into the house. You're speaking from your perspective. Usually come in comes from the person inside the house. Please come in, come in. All right. Finally, in this column, let's talk about out. Out. Next is come out, to come out. So this is very different from come in, actually. To come out means to reveal something. So you might hear come out used when people talk about a secret that they kept for a long time, to come out with a secret of some kind. We also use this when we have been hiding for a long time, like in kids' games, and a kid suddenly reveals themselves. They came out of their hiding place. To come out means to reveal something. Okay, next I want to talk about these two together, to go out and to get out. To go out and to get out. Very similar, but the feeling is different. With go out, it means to leave home. To leave home. I'm going out. I'm going to go out. I'm going to leave home. Where? Maybe it's not important. I don't tell you. I'm going to go out. Get out, however, while it does mean to leave a place, it means to leave quickly, to escape someplace. Maybe it's dangerous or something is really boring. Like, oh my gosh, you need to get out fast. There's something dangerous happening there. So it has that feeling of leaving something very quickly, escaping from a location you do not want to be in. That's get out. So it's quite different from go out, which just means to leave your home. Okay, next we have take out. To take out. To take out means to remove something. A very common example of this is the expression take out the trash. So it means to remove the garbage or the trash in your home and take it to the place for pickup, wherever that is for you. So to take out means to take something outside of its original location, in this case, the trash. Please take out the trash. So take out means to remove something. Next is pull out. To pull out. To pull out means to remove something by pulling it. So a great example of this is an electrical cord. When you want to unplug your computer, you can pull out the computer's electrical cord from the wall. So we use pull out to refer to removing something by pulling it. Okay, great. Let's go to the last part for this lesson. Over is the next one I want to look at. Over. We have roll over, pull over, move over, come over. Okay, the theme with all of these words, actually with these first three in particular, is movement to a side. Movement to a side. So to roll over means to roll your body to a side. So we use this in bed. I rolled over in my sleep, or she rolled over many times last night. This refers to your body rolling to a side. Pull over refers to driving a car to the side. So when you're driving down the road, you need to stop somewhere for a moment. We usually use pull over to describe that. Or maybe the police catch you and you say, oh no, the police, I should pull over. That means to drive your car to the side and generally stop, to pull over. Move over means to move to the side. So any side motion, we can describe that as moving over. Like I just moved over in this video. I moved to the side. We often use move over as a command. Like there are too many people on the couch. I want to sit. I can say, hey, move over, let me in. So that means please move to the side. Move to the side. Okay, the last one is different. Come over is different. Come over means to go to someone's house, to go to someone's house. Like we talked about with come in, it's used a lot in invitation and request patterns. Like I might say, hey, why don't you come over for dinner? Come over for dinner. That means please come to my place for dinner. Would you like to come to my place for dinner? Why don't you come over for dinner? And to accept the request, the person could say, oh, sure, yeah, I'll come over about 7. That means to go to someone's house. You might hear it used in requests too, like, hey, can I come over later? I need your help with something. So to come over means to go to someone's house. Okay, great. So that's come over. All right, let's move on to the last couple of groups here. Next is fall off and knock off. Fall off and knock off. I talked about these earlier here a little bit when I talked about knock down, yeah? To knock down is used in the same way as knock off, right? So you cause something to fall from a high place. You knock it off the shelf. I knocked the marker off my hand. So again, when you use knock off, it refers to falling from something, causing something to fall. You did something. Fall off, on the other hand, means I did not do anything. Something just fell down. I did it independently. So to fall off means to be moved from a high place. To knock off means to cause something to fall. We can also use knock off to mean to quit. This is used as a command generally. We say, knock it off. That means please stop or just stop. It sounds very aggressive and very direct, but you might hear it used in this way, especially among kids or when parents are talking to children. Knock it off, that's annoying. So fall off, no outside force, something just moves independently, or knock off as well. Also, yeah, quick point, fall down is different from fall off. So to fall off means it's on top of something. Fall down can be used when, for example, a person is standing and they suddenly drop. That's fall down. I could not say I fell off. That would be incorrect. We use fall off and knock off to talk about something moving or falling from a surface. Okay, let's go to the last group here, by. We have pass by, stop by, and drive by. Okay, pass by, pass by. Pass by means to move past a location. So to pass by, imagine you're driving a car, means you get close to something, but you don't contact it, and then you continue moving. So we describe this as pass by. For example, I might text my friend, hey, I passed by your house today. How are you? I was thinking of you. So to pass by means to move close to something on a course and then continue on. Stop by means to stop somewhere briefly. So we can use the same example. I need to stop by the store for some milk. And then you continue on. The feeling with stop by is it's a very, very brief stop. So I stopped by the store or I stopped by my friend's house to say hello and then I went home. So it's a very quick, short stop. Finally, to drive by. Drive by is used specifically when you are in a car. So I drove past my friend's house is also okay to use. To drive by or to drive past as well is the one I just used. I drove by my friend's house. The difference here, pass by and drive by, you can use pass by in the same way as drive by. If you are driving a car, you can say, I passed by my friend's house. That's fine. If you want to be specific, and mention you're in a car, you can say, I drove by my friend's house, yeah? So pass by can be used for any kind of motion. Maybe you're walking or jogging or riding a bicycle, whatever. You can use pass by for all of them. You can use drive by or cycle by or jog by, whatever, to be specific about the manner in which you passed a location. Okay, Cool. All right. So that's a bunch of verbs, a bunch of phrasal verbs that you can use to express movement. I hope that this lesson was helpful for you. Of course, there are many more phrasal verbs, and of course, there are other phrasal verbs that we use to express movement. If you want to practice those or practice with some of these in the comments, or if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this lesson, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Also, check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye! Hi everybody, and welcome back to Top Words. My name is Alicia, and today we're going to talk about 10 health-related words. Let's go. Heartbeat. The first word is heartbeat. Heartbeat. Heartbeat has two parts to it, heart and beat. Your heart is the organ inside your body that pumps blood. And the pumping motion, we say, is the beat, the rhythm of your heart. That thump, thump is like a beat, a regular rhythm of your heart, your heartbeat. So, in a sentence, he has a regular heartbeat. Pulse. The next word is pulse, pulse. So, pulse is the feeling of your heartbeat. So people can take their pulse or measure their pulse, find their pulse, usually at the wrist or just here underneath your chin, like where your head and your neck meet. You can feel the pulse, your pulse easily here. So pulse is the beat of your heartbeat, but in a different place in your body. So we can feel your heartbeat here. That feeling of your heartbeat is called your pulse. In a sentence, my pulse feels a little fast. Temperature. The next word is temperature. Temperature means your body's temperature. So there's a regular temperature, roughly, or about a regular temperature for each body. I think it's 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. But a temperature means if you have a high temperature, you have a fever. Low temperature maybe means something else, hypothermia, for example. But your temperature is your body's temperature. So we use the expression to run a temperature. To run a temperature means to have a high temperature. So run a temperature, he's running a temperature, means he has a high temperature. He has a fever. So in a sentence, your son is running a high temperature. Blood type. The next expression is blood type, blood type. So there are many different blood types. There's A, B, O, there's positive, negative, and so on. Blood type is your type of blood, the kind of classification your blood has. Each person has a different blood type. Do you know your blood type? In a sentence then, what's your blood type? Physical exam. The next expression is physical exam or physical examination. A physical exam is like a full body checkup. It's often done in like about high school age, junior high school or high school age, especially for students who are athletes, they're playing sports. But it's typically a good idea to get a physical exam once a year. It's like a full body check-in, like your body's range of motion, maybe just the general status of your body and so on. So a physical exam or just a physical is also an expression we use. So like, I need to get a physical, or I got a physical last week, or I hate getting physicals. We use the word physical to mean physical exam. In a sentence, when was your last physical exam? Height, weight. The next word or words is height and weight. Your height is how tall you are, and your weight is how heavy you are. So your height, in the US, we use feet and inches. In other countries in the world, most other countries, we use the metric system, so centimeters or meters and centimeters. So for example, when you express your height in the US, I would say like, I'm 5'2", 5 feet 2 inches, I think I'm 5'2", I don't know. And then to use the same expression, instead of feet and inches, we would use centimeters to express our height in using the metric system. So for example, I'm 162 centimeters. So there are these two different ways to express your height, depending on which country you're in. The same thing goes for your weight. So in the US, it's pounds, like I'm 400 pounds. Or in countries which use the metric system, it's kilograms. So I'm 7,000 kilograms, something like that. You would use kilograms or pounds to express your weight depending on the country that you're in. In a sentence, do you know your height and weight? To hurt. The next one is a verb. The verb is to hurt, to hurt. So when you are just going about your everyday life and you injure yourself, you have like, I don't know, you shut your finger in a door, or you crash against, I don't know, you run into a wall, or you stub your toe, meaning you hit your toe on an object. We say, I hurt myself, or, oh no, I got hurt. So to hurt something means to injure something, but the nuance, like the difference between hurt and injure, hurt is more light, I suppose. It's like a small accident, like maybe I scratched myself with a pen, or like I mentioned, I ran into a wall. It's a very light injury. Injury, however, is maybe a more serious issue, a serious accident, like a sports injury. A hurt is usually when you hurt yourself, you can recover quickly. There's that, but we also use hurt to explain pain in the body. So we can say, I hurt myself, or we can use the word hurt to talk about something that is causing us pain. So like my head really hurts, or my stomach hurts, or my back hurts, my arm hurts. Something that is causing pain. Instead of saying, I have pain in my head, or this is painful, we say, my something something hurts, or does your head hurt, or something like that. We use the verb hurt instead of painful more often. So in a sentence, my back really hurts. To injure. The next verb is injure, to injure. As I just talked about, hurt and injure are similar. Hurt is kind of light, injure is a bit more serious. So like playing sports and you have a bad accident, or you, I don't know, just have a crazy experience and somehow something dangerous happens to your body and you suffer an injury as a result. There's some wound or something occurs that was not there before. That's an injury. You have injured yourself, or you injured someone else. So it usually has the nuance of something a little bit more serious than just hurt. So in a sentence, I injured my leg playing sports. Ache. 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 So I talked about using hurt as a verb. My stomach hurts, my back hurts. We also use the word ache to talk about pains. We use it usually at the end of a body part. So for example, a headache as a noun, a stomach ache as a noun, a backache, a shoulder ache. We use this to talk about kind of like a low, dull, like continuing pain. So usually like a really quick, sharp pain, like if you pinch your skin, for example, it's quick, it's sharp, it goes away very quickly, it stops quickly. But for a continuing pain, something that continues to be very uncomfortable, like your stomach is hurting, we use ache for that. So a stomach ache, for example, a head ache. So we can use this expression. We can also use ache as a verb, like my stomach aches is also okay. Ache sounds like it's continuing though. So it's spelled A-C-H-E, but the pronunciation is ache. Okay, in a sentence, I have a bad headache. Nausea. The next word is nausea. Nausea is a noun. Nausea, there's also the adjective nauseous, which is spelled a little bit differently. But nausea is that feeling, that stomach ache feeling. You feel like you might be sick. And by be sick, I mean you feel like you might, the contents of your stomach might come out. If you feel sick to your stomach, we call that feeling nausea. That feeling is called nausea. So it's usually a very uncomfortable feeling. Your stomach feels very, very unhappy, very uncomfortable. That is called nausea in English. In a sentence, I woke up with really bad nausea. All right, that's the end. So those are 10 health-related words. I hope that those are helpful for you in talking about your body or explaining yourself to a doctor if you need to in English. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Top Words. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, check us out at EnglishClass101.com for more good stuff. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye! Hi everybody, welcome back to Top Words. My name is Alicia, and today we're going to talk about 10 phrasal verbs with run. If you've watched our live streams recently, you might have caught the episode where we talked about some of these phrasal verbs. You can watch that again for your homework or for after work or for review as well. But let's go. We're going to do a Top Words episode about it now. Run out of. The first phrasal verb is run out of, run out of. Run out of something means to sell out of something, to run out of a product, to run out of an item, to run out of a food in a restaurant, to run out of ideas for example sentences for run out of. Okay, so this is something, the nuance is sell out, to be finished, to have nothing left of something, to run out of blah, blah, blah. So in a sentence, we ran out of products at the festival. Yes, please be careful. The past tense of run is ran. So when you want to use past tense of this phrasal verb, we ran out. I ran out of blah, blah, blah. Okay. Run a business. The next phrasal verb with run is run a business. Run a business means like manage a business, often operate a business, own a business. You are the person in charge, or the person running the business is the person in charge, the person responsible for that business. So in a sentence, my dream is to run a haircutting business. Run into. The next phrasal verb is run into. Run into. So we can use run into to mean crash, like I ran into, again, past tense. I ran into a wall on my way into the studio today, which is not true. I ran into something. Or we can use run into to mean encounter someone by surprise. So, for example, I ran into my coworker at the beach yesterday, or I ran into my neighbor when I was shopping. I ran into my mom on the airplane, for example. Okay, so these are all surprise encounters. When you encounter someone and you were not expecting to encounter them, you can use run into, past tense ran into. In a sentence, I ran into my friend at the mall. Run by. The next expression is run by, run by. So run by means make a quick stop somewhere. Run by the post office, run by the bank, run by the school, run by my house, run by your house after work, run by my favorite ice cream shop for a treat after work. For example, these are all quick stops somewhere, a very short stop for a short period of time, and then you're going to do something else. This is the nuance of run by a location. In a sentence, I want to run by the post office before work. Run away. The next expression is run away. Run away means escape or quickly leave somewhere. So there's the nuance perhaps of something dangerous happening. You need to leave quickly. So like run away from a bear, run away from a snake, run away from a strange person, run away from your fears. What? Okay. Run away from bad things. Anyway, it's kind of the running away from something negative. Or I think during the live stream, some people said like run away from my girlfriend or run away from my wife's dog or something like that. So there's a nuance of escaping something here. In a sentence, run away from anyone suspicious. Run around. The next expression is run around. Run around means to go to many places, usually in a short period of time. So, of course, we can say like run around as in I like to run around my neighborhood when I go jogging, literally running around an area. But if you're going to many places in a short period of time, like one afternoon, you have many places to go, or in one day, or maybe in 1 week, just a lot of meetings, for example. You can say, I have to run around to a lot of places this afternoon, or I'm running around to a lot of different meetings this afternoon, for example. In a different sentence, he's running around the city this afternoon. He has a lot of appointments.
Run off with. The next expression is run off with. Run off with something. Sounds like something was stolen, something was taken that was not supposed to be. So it's not always stealing. Sometimes it's by accident, like in a situation like my roommate ran off with my phone this morning. So maybe it was an accident. Like maybe my phone was in my roommate's bag and my roommate left with my phone. So to run off with means to leave, to go away, holding something or with something that may or may not have been stolen. So there's no intention of the owner. The owner maybe is missing that item. The owner wants that item but does not have it. So in a sentence, the thief ran off with my wallet. Run up. Next expression is run up. Run up means to create a large total or to make a list of items, usually on a bill. So we use this a lot at restaurants or maybe in service situations, maybe hotels, or maybe even a department store, for example. Like we usually use it in an expression like to run up a large bill at the bar or to run up a large sales ticket, something like that. Usually we use bill, to run up a large bill. It means to make a long list, to run up, like imagine maybe a receipt if you can, to run up a long list of items on a bill. So in a sentence, we ran up a huge bill at the bar last night. Run a fever. The next word is run a fever. Run a fever. Run a fever means to have a high body temperature. This is a set phrase, to run a fever. Means, yeah, your body temperature is higher than normal. You have a fever. So we can say, I have a fever, or I'm too, we don't say I'm too hot. That sounds strange. Say, I have a fever, or I'm running a fever. Those two are the most common ways to talk about your body temperature. In a sentence, I can't go to work. I'm running a fever. Run on. The next expression is run on plus something. So oftentimes this expression, run on a fuel of some kind, like some kind of energy-giving substance. So for people, like we were just discussing, coffee. So some people say, I run on coffee. My fuel is coffee. Or maybe I run on energy drinks. We can use this expression for cars, like my car runs on gasoline. My car runs on solar power. We use this to talk about how something gets its energy. So I could say, I run on coffee in the mornings. That's not true, but it sounds like that thing is essential to making the energy happen. You must have that thing. Or only that thing is available. The nuance of like, I run on coffee, it sounds like if I don't have that thing, I'll die. So it sounds kind of serious, like this energy-giving thing is necessary for you or for your machine to run, to work, to function. Okay, so in a sentence, I didn't sleep at all last night. I'm running on coffee today. That's the end. So those are 10 phrasal verbs with run. I hope that was useful for you. If you want a little bit more practice or maybe to hear some slightly different explanations, be sure to check out the live stream that we did about this topic recently too. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Top Words. If you liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to our channel as well. Also, check us out at EnglishClass101.com for more good stuff. Thanks for watching this episode of Top Words, and I'll see you again soon. Bye! Hi everybody, and welcome back to Top Words. My name is Alicia, and today we're going to talk about 10 body and action related idioms. So let's go! To cost an arm and a leg. The first idiom is to cost an arm and a leg. To cost an arm and a leg. An arm and a leg. The nuance of this expression is something is very expensive. It costs so much. The price of this item, a price of an item costs my arm and my leg. Not even money. It's so expensive, I have to give part of my body to pay for this. So something costs an arm and a leg means something is very expensive. In a sentence, my new TV cost an arm and a leg. The cold shoulder. The next expression is the cold shoulder, the cold shoulder. So this refers to a body part. This is when someone is ignoring another person. To give someone the cold shoulder, we usually say, he or she is giving me the cold shoulder, or you should give him the cold shoulder. So the nuance of this expression, like why do we say shoulder? It's sort of like if you're across the room from someone and you don't want to talk to them, you might turn your body this way, like turn your shoulders towards them and kind of make this very cold posture, this very closed posture. So we say that this sort of ignoring someone is giving them the cold shoulder. That's what we call this expression. In a sentence, he's giving me the cold shoulder. Stink eye. The next idiom is stink eye, stink eye. So stink eye means giving someone a bad look. So it's like this kind of evil or really, really unhappy look with someone. So you see someone you don't like walk in the room, or someone maybe has come to a nice event and they're dressed in like very inappropriately, or just some behavior is displeasing. You dislike some behavior, and you give that person a bad look, an unhappy, a very angry or displeased look. We say that's the stink eye, the stink eye. So in a sentence, she gave her boyfriend the stink eye. Eyes in the back of one's head. The next expression is eyes in the back of one's head, eyes in the back of your head. So the image here, so of course we have eyes in the front of our head, but the nuance of this expression is that someone has eyes in the back of their head. This means they can see everything that's happening around them. So this is often used for parents, like my mother has eyes in the back of her head, so she can see everything. It seems like they're not watching, but they are. So to have eyes in the back of your head means you can see everything, or you seem to be able to see everything around you. So in a sentence, my teacher has eyes in the back of his head. Kick the bucket. The next expression is kick the bucket. Kick the bucket means to die. To pass away is to kick the bucket. This expression means to die, to pass away. It's a very casual expression. You might consider it rude. So we typically use it for people who we are not close to, or maybe people who we really disliked. But it's generally kind of a slightly disrespectful phrase. I suppose you could use it for very, very close friends who pass away. But yeah, it's a rude expression that most of the time we don't use. So in a sentence, I heard the old man down the street kicked the bucket. Pull somebody's leg. Next expression is pull somebody's leg. To pull somebody's leg means to joke with them or to tell a lie. To tell a lie in a joking way. This is the nuance of to pull someone's leg. So if someone gives you surprising or shocking information, you can say, no way, you're pulling my leg, meaning you're joking. You must be joking, or that's a lie, that's a funny lie. But it's usually in kind of like a funny, happy situation where it's very light, a very light joke. Usually we do not use the expression pull someone's leg in a serious situation. So in a sentence, no way, you're pulling my leg. Throw somebody under the bus. Ooh, the next one. The next expression is throw somebody under the bus. Throw somebody under the bus. You might hear this in politics and in news a lot. So to throw somebody under the bus means to blame them for problems in a situation. So to use them as the reason for problems in a situation. You might know the word scapegoat. A scapegoat is someone who takes the blame in a situation. Even if they are not the reason for the problem, they receive the blame. They receive maybe the negative feedback, the negative backlash of the situation. This is a similar expression. To throw somebody under the bus means you take the heat. Take the heat means you take the blame. That person receives the blame, receives the negative attention for a problem. So you might hear it like in like government-related news, like the president threw his chief of staff under the bus with that comment. So blamed someone else for a problem, or use someone else to deflect responsibility. So it's generally not a good thing to throw somebody under the bus. It has the nuance of there being no reason. There's no reason in some cases to blame that person for doing that thing. So in a sentence, wow, he really threw you under the bus in that meeting. To steal thunder. The next expression is to steal thunder. To steal thunder. This is such an interesting phrase to me. I really want to look up the history for this one, like the image, like to steal thunder. By the way, thunder and lightning, just as a side note, thunder is that sound you hear in storms, yeah? Lightning is the light. So to steal thunder, thunder specifically is that sound, that's that loud sound you hear in storms. But to steal someone's thunder is to steal someone's credit for doing something, or to steal attention from someone that should have attention. So in an example, let's say it's my birthday party and my friend only wants to talk about herself, and she wants everybody to give attention to her, but it's my birthday party. That's stealing. She's stealing my thunder. So I should get the attention, but she is trying to take the attention. So generally, it's not a good thing to steal someone's thunder. Generally, it's seen as sort of, it's not a good behavior really in social situations to steal thunder, to take someone else's credit. Especially in work and business situations. To steal thunder in a work situation can really make things difficult around your coworkers in the future. So, in a sentence, my friend stole my thunder at my own event. To be under the weather. The next expression is to be under the weather. To be under the weather means to feel sick, to be feeling sick, to be maybe very tired. You just don't feel well is to be under the weather. I feel under the weather today. So we can use this usually for light sickness. If you feel very, very ill, it's too serious for this expression. To be under the weather is a light sickness or something that's just a little bit uncomfortable, maybe. Okay, in a sentence, you look a bit under the weather today. Hit the road. Next one is hit the road. Hit the road is a casual expression which means to leave, to depart, to go somewhere. It sounds like you're going on a road trip or you're going on you're traveling somewhere. This is the nuance. Hit the road is like we're going to a different place, a different location, and maybe it's going to take some time to get there. So we say hit the road, let's hit the road. In a sentence, time to hit the road. Okay, that is the end. So those are 10 body and action related idioms. I hope that you found some that were interesting or useful for you. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Top Words. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to our channel too. Also, check us out at EnglishClass101.com for more good stuff. Thanks for watching this time, and we'll see you again soon. Bye! The Cold Shoulder. That sounds like a good wrestler name. Or maybe that's a good cocktail. Shoulder. Yes, I'd like a cold shoulder, please. Oh, I'm going to make a cocktail called Cold Shoulder. Let's make an idiom cocktail book. Yes, I'd like an arm and a leg. How about a stink eye? That's a weird joke. Do it. That's a weird joke. Hi everybody and welcome back to Top Words. My name is Alicia and today we're going to talk about 10 idioms involving animals. So let's begin. Catnap. All right, the first idiom is catnap. Catnap means a short nap. So cats have kind of an image of being able to curl up or to be able to fall asleep for short periods of time, almost anywhere. So a cat nap is a person taking a short rest, a short nap. So in a sentence, I'm exhausted. I'm going to take a cat nap. Clam up. The next idiom is clam up. Clam up. So to clam up means to become very nervous, like to close. So the image, like, a clam is this creature that lives in the ocean. It looks like this. So to clam up, the image is like you become very closed, very tight, very tense, usually because of nervous feelings. If you feel very nervous, you get kind of close and close up your body, perhaps. We say that's clamming up. To clam up is to get very nervous before doing something maybe exciting or to do something for the first time, like a performance. In a sentence, I clammed up before my debut performance. Have a cow. The next idiom is have a cow. Have a cow. This sounds like such a strange expression, doesn't it? Like to have a cow, like give birth to a cow? Maybe? I don't know. But have a cow means to get unnecessarily upset about something. So to have a cow means to get too angry, or overly sad. Usually it's with like anger, though. I feel like it's kind of an outburst, a strong, quick statement of anger or something. We usually use this with anger being kind of noisy a little bit. So we say usually, don't have a cow, meaning don't be so angry, don't be so upset. There's no reason to. So it's in cases where people are very, very upset, we use this expression. So in a sentence, don't have a cow will fix the problem. Elephant in the room. The next expression, I like this expression. It's very cool. The idiom is elephant in the room. Elephant in the room. This is a really interesting idiom because it's used in cases where there's one very big topic that maybe everybody, for example, in your workplace or your school, everybody knows about one big topic, usually it's something a little bit scandalous or a little bit controversial topic that everybody knows about, but usually that nobody is talking about. So to give an example, like let's say your coworkers are dating and everybody in the office has realized it, but the two people who are dating, have not clearly stated that, their new relationship. We would say, oh, that's like nobody is talking about the elephant in the room. Some big sort of secret, but not really secret knowledge. Some sort of scandal or some sort of little bit of controversy or drama sometimes. We can call that the elephant in the room. So some big idea that everybody pretends is not there. Like an elephant, it's a big concept, a big topic, a big thing to discuss. Like an elephant in the room, everybody knows it's there, but nobody talks about it. So in a sentence, nobody wants to talk about the elephant in the room, the company scandal. So here the scandal or the controversial issue is the elephant, equals the elephant. Interesting expression. Wild goose chase. The next expression is wild goose chase. Wild goose chase usually means like a long chase somewhere. You see these in if you watch police shows, especially in the US, the police might chase a suspect in a vehicle for a long time, like around neighborhoods or maybe through difficult to navigate streets. So it's kind of a crazy chase. Why we use goose? Maybe because geese run in strange patterns, or maybe they're just unpredictable, a wild goose, I don't know. But this means just a crazy, long, difficult to follow chase, a wild goose chase. This can mean a physical chase, or it can mean a chase for information. So for example, if you watch like CSI, one of those detective police drama shows, they might go from piece of information to piece of information, trying to find a person who committed a crime or trying to find a solution to something. We could say that's a wild goose chase, but in this case, it's through information. So we can use this for a physical chase, or we can use it for an information chase. You're chasing something through information. That's a wild goose chase. In a sentence, the police went on a wild goose chase to find the suspect. Kill two birds with one stone. Oh, the next expression is very famous and very, very useful. It's kill two birds with one stone. Two birds with one stone. So this is quite easy to imagine, I think. You have one stone, you're hunting, there are two birds there. If you can kill both birds with the same stone at the same time, it's very efficient, right? It saves you time, it saves you energy, and you get these two birds at the same time instead of just one. So this is an efficiency idiom. So to kill two birds with one stone means to do one action, to take one action, but to solve more than one problem at the same time through that one action. For example, if I decide to make a huge pot of soup one night, and it's enough for like lunch and dinner the next day for me too. I could say, wow, I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Like I have lunch and dinner prepared for the next day. That's 2 birds, 1 stone. So where each bird in this idiom equals a problem. You could say 3 birds with 1 stone if you like, but usually it's 2 birds with 1 stone. In this sentence, if we plan carefully, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone with this project. Crocodile tears. The next expression is crocodile tears. Crocodile tears. This is an expression which means insincere emotions, usually insincere, sad emotions. So someone who pretends to cry, maybe to get attention, or they pretend to be unhappy, they pretend to be disappointed. They're doing it to only get attention. It's not a sincere emotional response. We call that crocodile tears. I wonder why. I'm not sure why it's called crocodile tears, but we say that insincere sadness like that's fake sadness is crocodile tears. That's what we say. So in a sentence, he's not being sincere. Those are just crocodile tears. Don't count chickens before they hatch. Oh, next one is another really famous, really good expression. Maybe you have it in your language, in your country. The expression is don't count chickens before they hatch. So this means don't consider a problem solved until the problem has already been solved. Or maybe don't get too far ahead of yourself, or don't look too far into the future. You have to wait for maybe each part of your plan or each part of your idea to happen before you can say, like, it's solved. So let me give you an example. In the idiom, it's don't count chickens before they hatch. So the image is maybe you have 8 eggs, for example, waiting for the chickens to hatch. You could count them, count those 8 eggs and say, okay, I'm going to have 8 chickens. You can expect I'm going to have 8 chickens, but maybe a raccoon or a dog is going to steal one of the eggs, or maybe you accidentally crush an egg or something happens and you only have 4 eggs when the chickens hatch. But you were planning on having 8 eggs. So because you planned on having 8 eggs, having only 4 becomes a problem. So you could say, I shouldn't have counted my chickens before they hatched. Like, I shouldn't have planned for something which I had no control over. So in this case, in the chicken example, something beyond my control, out of my control happened, and I didn't plan for that. So in other words, it's wait to make your plans until you can see the final outcome. That's a good way to summarize this. Wait to make your plans until you know what's going to happen, until you can be sure of the actual outcome of the situation. Okay. So in a sentence, I'm feeling optimistic about this, but we should be careful not to count our chickens before they hatch. No horse in this race. This expression is no horse in this race. It means I have no inclination, I have no preference towards one option or another. So let me give you an example. So let's use horse in the race. So this expression comes from race horses, yeah? So there are maybe 5 horses in a race, for example, and the owner of a horse, of course, wants the horse to win, his horse or her horse to win that race. But if I'm just watching the race and I haven't used my money to participate in the race, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care which horse wins, maybe. So I can say, I have no horse in this race. It doesn't matter to me. So I have no preference in this situation about maybe which plan we choose. I have no preference about which plan we choose. I have no preference about which decision you make, for example, because I am not invested in this decision. It's not my issue. I have no horse in this race. So in a sentence, it doesn't matter to me. I've got no horse in this race. All right. Shoot fish in a barrel. Okay, the next expression is shoot fish in a barrel. Shoot fish in a barrel means something is very, very easy. So take the image of this idiom. If a barrel is a large container, a very large container, like quite tall, I would say, maybe like this, I don't know. Anyway, it's a very tall container. The image is inside the barrel. There are lots and lots of fish. If you go fishing, it's maybe difficult to catch fish. But if fish are just in a barrel and you want to get fish, you can just shoot into the barrel and you will probably hit a fish. It's very easy to hit a fish. So we use this expression to mean something that is extremely easy. Something that is very, very easy is like shooting fish in a barrel. We usually say like shooting fish in a barrel. In a sentence, I can't believe how easy this is, like shooting fish in a barrel. So those are 10 idioms involving animals. I hope that was useful for you. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know in the comment section below this video. Also, please be sure to like this video if you haven't already, and make sure to subscribe to our channel. Check us out at EnglishClass101.com as well for more good stuff. Thanks for watching this episode of Top Words, and we'll see you again soon. Bye! Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this lesson we're going to talk about the verb dig. Let's get started. Let's start with the basic definition. The basic definition of dig is to move dirt with a tool or hands. Some examples. We dug holes in the garden for flowers. Let's dig in the sand and make a sandcastle. Now let's look at the conjugations for this verb. Present, dig, digs. Past, dug. Past participle, dug. Progressive, digging. Now let's take a look at some additional meanings for this verb. The first additional meaning is to search for something hidden. This can be objects or information. Examples. He's digging for his keys in his bag. I dug up some important evidence about the case. So, to dig for something, in this sense, is used when we're searching for something that we cannot see. So this can be objects like we see in the first example sentence. The first example sentence is he's digging for his keys in his bag. This suggests that he's making a digging motion in his bag. He's searching for his keys, but he can't see his keys. So we use digging to show that it's like a difficult kind of digging motion we're making in order to find something. So in this case, it's an object. In the second example sentence, however, we see past tense, dug up some important evidence. So to dig something, like to dig information, or in this case, we're using dig up, or past tense, dug up. It's like we're uncovering something, like we're using almost like a digging motion or like a digging feeling, like we're really, really searching through lots of unnecessary information to find something important. So when we're using this meaning with information gathering, we often use dug up, in this case past tense, or to dig up in the present tense, when we talk about the thing we found. So like I need to dig for information about something is okay. When you find the information, you can say I dug up some information about the case, for example, or I dug up some important evidence about the case. So we often will use to dig up or dug up in past tense to like reveal the information. And before that, we might just use the regular dig without the preposition up. So kind of an interesting point. But we can use this for objects or for information. The next additional meaning is to understand or approve of something. This is a slang usage. Let's look at some examples. I dig the jacket. She's digging the music tonight. So this is kind of a cool word. It's not something that your everyday, like average person would use. This is a word that's kind of associated with artists to some degree, like poets or musicians or singers, for example, maybe people who are interested in fashion. So we don't really pronounce the word digging in the progressive, we often will make it sound kind of cool by saying she's diggin'. So that kind of like sort of cool way of speaking is used with this sort of slangish word, which means I approve of that, or like I see that and I understand it. Like in the first example sentence, I dig the jacket is like I see your jacket, it's really cool, I like it, like I approve of that. So it's like some kind of understanding and some recognition that that is like cool or good in some way. You can use this in the negative, like I'm really not digging the vibe here tonight. So vibe means like the feeling, and I'm not digging means I'm not approving, or I don't feel like this is good for me right now. So this is a kind of cool slang word that people use, like artists. So just kind of listen to the people who are around you and the way that they speak, and listen to see if they use this word before you use this word. If you use dig and you think it sounds kind of cool, it could be okay. But if you use dig in like, I would say like a political situation or something that's kind of in a business situation, it might not sound so appropriate. So this tends to be something used more in like artistic situations or somewhat more casual situations. We can say like, yeah, I dig it, or I dig that. That's fine to use in most cases. But if you want to get more specific, I would say use this word more for artistic conversations. So now let's continue to some variations with this verb. The first variation is to dig something into something or someone. This means to push something into something else. Examples. He dug his fingers into the cookie dough. I can feel a rock digging into my foot. So to dig something into something means that like there's a digging motion, or there's this kind of like pushing motion from one like object or one person into something else. In the first example, he dug his fingers into the cookie dough. It's like his fingers are pushing into dough for cookies, cookie dough. So it's this kind of pushing motion of a hand, in this case, into dough. We describe this by saying he dug his fingers into the cookie dough. So you can also kind of imagine a digging motion a little bit here, but it's like pushing his hand into dough. In the second example sentence, I can feel a rock digging into my foot. This is probably a case where there's a rock inside the speaker's shoe. So like if you can imagine a small rock in your shoe, and every step you take, that little rock, if we imagine this as a rock, every step you take, you feel the rock digging, so pushing into your foot. We express that with, it's digging into my foot. So when you have something in your shoe, or there's maybe like a, I don't know, something digging into your arm, like on a crowded train or something like that, it's pushing into you. You can say something is digging into you. It really shows that it's painful, it hurts, it's uncomfortable. So to dig into something else. Something is digging into something else. It sounds like a negative situation in those cases, so it kind of helps us share pain a little bit, this expression does. So to dig into something. The next variation is to dig someone or something out. This means to free or rescue someone or something by digging. Examples. The rescue team dug the earthquake survivors out of the destroyed building. She dug a piece of broken glass out of the dirt. So these uses show us that there's something kind of hidden, or there's something trapped in a situation, and we use a digging motion to free or to help the person escape. In the first example, it's about people. In this case, an earthquake situation, a destroyed building is like the key here. So the rescue team dug the earthquake survivors out of the destroyed building. So you see in this sentence, we're using the past tense dug out, but it's separated. The rescue team dug the earthquake survivors out. So here, the earthquake survivors are being rescued. They are the ones that are trapped inside the destroyed building. So the rescue team makes a digging motion in the destroyed building parts in order to free, in order to rescue the earthquake survivors. So they are the people who are being dug out. They're rescued in this case. In the second example, it's an object. In this case, there's a broken piece of glass in dirt. So she dug a broken piece of glass out of the dirt. It's like she dug and found this broken piece of glass and removed it from the dirt. So by making a digging motion, again, she was able to release something or free something that was there. So we can use this to talk about, like in the first example, helping people, rescuing people, or like removing something from like a hidden or like a trapped location. All right, so I hope that you found a few new ways of using the verb dig. If you have any questions or comments, or if you know a different way of using the verb dig, please feel free to let us know in the comment section of this video. Of course, if you like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you in your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Can you dig it? Yeah, I dug that lesson. Little joke, little joke.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is new topics and talking points, the easiest way to increase your speaking time. If you want to speak your target language better, you'll often hit two specific ceilings that you'll need to get around. The good news is one of them is easy to get around, and it involves picking up new talking points. That's why today you'll discover 1. The ceilings you'll hit when speaking in your target language, and 2. How to apply this learning tactic. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, all the words and phrases you must know about love. Learn all the words and phrases for romance, love, and dating with this PDF ebook. Yours free just in time for Valentine's Day. And second, the Love Conversation Cheat Sheet. Do you know how to ask someone out in your target language? With this new cheat sheet, master tons of romantic phrases. Download it for free right now. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Now to today's topic. New topics and talking points, the easiest way to increase your speaking time. Part 1. Ceilings you'll hit when speaking in your target language. When you start speaking in your target language, one of the most common ceilings you'll run into is running out of things to say. Has that ever happened to you? But another problem that can happen is you'll get good at some conversations, like talking about yourself or why you're learning the language. But how is that a problem if you get good at it? Well, if you get hit with another topic that you can't talk about, then it's game over. Just imagine you're talking almost fluently about topic A. You're impressing the native speakers and everything is going great. But then topic B comes along and you start struggling. The native speakers will quickly realize your language skills are not quite up there, and even though you're quite good, you are still a beginner. It's kind of ironic, right? You can speak almost fluently with one topic, but you freeze up with another. This happens quite often with beginners. So how do you get past this? As a general rule, if you want to extend your speaking time, there are 2 things you can do. Number 1, learn to talk about new topics or talking points. Or 2, learn to talk more in depth about what you already know. The second one comes slowly over time as you learn new words and grammar patterns. So if you're actively learning a language, you're always working on the second one. But the short-term, easy way to speak more is to have more talking points and be able to talk about new topics. How? Part 2, how to apply this learning tactic. If you want to be able to talk about new topics and have more talking points, then that's exactly where our 1-minute conversation cheat sheets come in. These cheat sheets serve as a primer for new topics and conversations. You'll get brief dialogues for topics like weather, hobbies, and more so that you can use them in conversations. The second way you can build up your list of talking points is to simply write out topics you like your hobbies or music, or topics you may anticipate in future conversations. Then look for lessons around these topics inside the lesson library. You'll learn conversations that you can then use in real life with native speakers. You can also check out our can-do lessons in the lesson library. These can-do lessons cover specific topics like introducing yourself, talking about yourself, your family, and more. But unlike the cheat sheets, with the lessons, you'll get to hear entire dialogues. You'll hear the native pronunciation, learn how to talk about these topics more in depth, and practice speaking. Again, the goal here is to expose you to new talking points and topics, new conversations, so that you can use them in real life, so that you're not just good at talking about one thing in your target language, and so you can boost your speaking time by a bit. Thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about 3 tactics for maximizing time and making more language progress. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! If you want to boost your vocabulary so you can speak more of your target language, the worst way would be to try and learn all the words. The best way? Through focused vocabulary and phrase lists for everyday topics that you need as a beginner, such as greetings, replying to how are you, and much more. And you can get hundreds of these vocabulary lists for free if you know where to look, because you won't find these anywhere else. So stick around. Today you'll discover 1. How to get our vocabulary lists, 2. How to boost your vocabulary, and 3. All the bonus learning tools you get inside. But first, if you don't yet have access to our language learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. So let's jump in. I'll guide you through our learning system so you get to see exactly what's inside and our members-only study tools. Okay, so let's take a look. So first, let's examine what are the free vocabulary lists. So to access the free vocabulary lists, these are available for all members on the website. You simply go from your main dashboard to the vocabulary drop-down menu at the top of the page here and click on vocabulary lists. So here you'll see a bunch of different categories, a bunch of different themes, things related to certain topics of conversation, holidays, etc. So to access the information inside the list, you can hover over one of the lists and click on View List. So for this one, let's take a look at the common ways to say thank you list. So click on View List and you'll get this page that has all of the different expressions included on it. So I want to talk a little bit about the different tools that are embedded in the website that you can use to study these vocabulary words. So first, let's take a look at the different icons that are here to the left of each of the expressions. The first is this icon, the speaker icon. If you want to listen to a native speaker say that vocabulary word or say that expression, you can click on this and you'll hear that. Then to the right, you'll see that there's this microphone icon. So you can use this to record yourself saying that vocabulary word. This is super, super helpful if you want to work on your pronunciation. So you can record yourself saying that, and you can compare it to the native speaker's pronunciation, and that's a tool that you can use to make sure that you're pronouncing those new vocabulary words correctly. Okay? So next I want to talk a little bit about this checkbox that's to the left of each of the expressions. So if you click this, you'll notice maybe that these two things just above the word list have changed. So we can do a couple different things with these checked vocabulary words. We can first add selected to flashcards. So if you have a flashcard deck that you're already using to study, you can add any words that you select here to an existing flashcard deck. So if I click on this, you'll see a few things come up. So there are some decks that are already on this account. I could add this new vocabulary word to any one of these, or I could create a new deck with this vocabulary word. So if you already have a flashcard deck that you use to study every day or every week, you can easily add new words from this page, from this very, very easy to use checkbox system, okay? So that's one thing. And then the other thing here is this selected to word bank, add selected to word bank. So if you click on this, the word will go to your word bank. You'll get a notification that the word was added to your word bank. So your word bank is something you can access from the same drop-down menu up here at the top. If you go to word bank, you will see a list of all of the words that you've added to this bank. So this is something that you can use if you know there's like a certain category or a certain topic that you want to study more, or maybe these words are particularly hard for you, something like that. So if you want to use this word bank, you can do that here. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about here is this button up at the top of the screen. This is View as Slideshow. So you can select a few different vocabulary words. You could select the whole list if you want to, and you can click the View as Slideshow button up here. And then you'll get to select some things relating to your slideshow. If you want to hear audio, if you want the loop playback option, and then you can start the slideshow and you'll get to practice in this way too. So there are a number of different tools that you can find right here from the vocabulary list page. So one of these is available, all of these tools are available for each of the different vocabulary lists that we just looked at the main vocabulary list page. So make sure to check these out. And another thing to think about is that if you are a member on our website, of course you can access all of these for free, but we will also sometimes email you vocabulary lists. So for example, if there's a holiday that's coming up, you'll get an email from us that has a bunch of vocabulary related to that holiday. So as you can see, there are a bunch of different ways that you can use these vocabulary lists to study new words, of course, but you can also work on your listening skills and your pronunciation with all of the tools that we have available on our website. If you want a free way to boost your vocabulary and speak more, check out the free vocabulary lists. There are hundreds inside our library, and all you need is a free lifetime account. So, if you want to learn the language and get access to these learning tools and our learning system, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.